Hello and thanks for watching this video on Acumatica and Taxcloud. Today we're going to talk about a tax provider called Taxcloud, which is a great alternative to other solutions in the market. So one of the things that's unique about Taxcloud is the fact that the service itself is 100% free. If you turn on their automated compliance option, which allows Taxcloud to collect tax for you in these various states. So you can see here on the map, here's the states that Taxcloud has formed agreements with. These agreements allow Taxcloud to get paid directly from these states for ensuring that merchants collect sales tax in these states, even if you don't have jurisdiction. So when you select this mode of service, Taxcloud has two different options. But when you select this mode, the service is completely free. And the way it works is, if we click on, for example, North Dakota, you can see the automated compliance here. Now, if we click on another state, the other states, Taxcloud still services. However, every state has a different law where you're required to collect sales tax in those states based on certain criteria. So for example, Pennsylvania, if your total sales are over $100,000 over a year, then you're supposed to collect sales tax to do business in the state of Pennsylvania. Now, Taxcloud will monitor this and show you what threshold you're at for each state as well. So if we go over to Acumatica and we open it up, Acumatica 2019 allows you to have multiple tax plugin providers. So if we look for our tax provider and we look up Taxcloud, you can see our plugin is installed and we've put in our API ID as well as our API key. And then we've also mapped our company code. By default, it's 0 in Taxcloud, but here's the branch we're mapping it to. Now, this requires us to enable, under our enable features, scroll all the way down, external tax calculation integration. Okay, so once that's done, and we take a look at our vendors, you need to have at least one tax vendor set up. So in this case, for my example, I set up the Connecticut Department of Revenue, and I check this box, vendor is a tax agency. Now, the next thing we need is a tax zone. And we set up one simply for my Connecticut tax zone, and I labeled it tax agency and what provider it's using. Now, the zip codes here allow you to define if you are shipping to a zip code that matches this range. So in this example, all of the zip codes in Connecticut, Acumatica will automatically pick this tax zone when you sell to a customer shipping to that zip code. But let's do an example here. So let's create a new order. We'll pick a customer. In this case, I'm picking any customer. And I'll show you why in a second. So we'll pick an inventory ID. And there's a couple of things that go together to ensure the tax is charged correctly. So the first thing that occurs is our delivery method. So if we go to ship settings, right now our ship via is FedEx Ground. Now if you do a lookup, under FedEx Ground, notice this common carrier. This indicates that anything I ship, Acumatica will look at the delivery address for that shipment in order to determine the tax calculated. Now, if you choose a delivery method such as local that is not common carrier, then Acumatica will look back at the current branch, at the zip code there, and it'll send that along to the tax calculator. Okay, so we'll leave this alone. So my delivery address in this case is New Jersey. Now if we go over to Taxcloud, because I have automated compliance on, New Jersey is selected for it. So the other thing is every item has a tax category. Now this tax category is defined inside the item as a default, inside the item profile. However, you can change it on the line item as well. Now, Taxcloud uses IDs in order to categorize the category of item. So if we go to Topics for help, and we click on Setup and Registration, there's a concept that Taxcloud calls TICS. That's the Taxability Information Codes. Now, if you click on this link right here, you can download this content by going to TIC Feeds. So in this example, I'll just click on the text file, and you can see all of the different categories that Taxcloud uses. So going back to Acumatica, you see I created a couple. So we'll select, in this case, computer supplies. And when we save this, we still don't have a tax rate. Now the reason for that is because, as you recall, we don't have any tax zones set up with zip codes. But if we go back to sales orders, we can either update the customer under financial settings, override the tax zone, and in this case, we'll pick the Connecticut tax zone. We'll go back to document details and save it. And now you can see that New Jersey sales tax has been calculated. Now, if we run a calculator here and we divide, you can see our tax rate here. And if we go back to Taxcloud and click on Find a Rate, click on New Jersey, you can see that same rate. So, a couple more things about Taxcloud. If we click on Transactions, you can see Taxcloud will continue to monitor all of your transactions up until the point where they're invoiced, and it'll start reporting on these taxes. So if we click on this one, for example, you can see we shipped from Washington, that's our branch address, to New Jersey, that's the customer's shipping address. So that's a quick overview of Taxcloud integrating with Acumatica. I hope you found it useful. While Taxcloud is free, the module itself, there's a small charge for it from Cloud9 ERP Solutions. So if you have any questions on it, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help you. Thanks so much for watching.